once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great.
All right, you guys, welcome back. Listen, we got another video for you. We're working with two dogs from the same home. The dogs' names are Spark and Chase. They're about a year old. They're litter mates. And they're here because they are fighting back at home. There's been some issues with fighting, and the owners want help trying to figure out why. And I have some ideas already, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys the dogs, because when it comes to working with dogs like this in the home, things can get pretty boring in terms of a YouTube video. Like, I'm not really here to put up a video of the dogs fighting, but part of the thing that I do with dogs like this when they come in for boarding and training is to actually just spend some time with them outdoors when temperatures are good, indoors when temperatures are too hot. And so with that being said, we are hanging out. And one of the things that I like to do when I hang out with the dogs is to just observe them, just to watch them hang out with each other, watch them follow each other around. And I want to see how the dogs are interacting with each other. I want to see if, like, one dog knocks the other dog out of the way for maybe some water. I want to see about how they might feel about things like antlers or other types of toys that the dogs might find of value. Balls, we got a couple balls over here. There's a blue ball and a pink ball. And so my goal when I'm working with dogs like this, let me just get the camera situated here, is to just observe them. And hey, buddy, hey, how we doing? Huh? Now, the dogs they're litter mates, so they look alike quite a bit. The only way to really tell them apart is going to be by the collars. Blue collar, that's going to be Chase, I think. Yep. And then Spark is in the orange collar, but I can't really get a clip of him right now because he's trying to jump on me. So, as boxers are, they are known for kind of just rearing up on their hind ends and, putting their paws on you and whatnot. So, again, we have Spark and Chase. And when it comes to kind of trying to help owners resolve how to stop fighting between the two dogs in the home, it really is about observing them, reading body language, and then intervening, of course, if we see something that makes us feel like there could be trouble. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that with you today. I have, in the past, I have talked about it briefly when I'm socializing dogs and they're out here playing. But this video is actually focused on that a little bit more versus a video that I put up maybe just for playtime or something like that. So, so I think I just want to talk to you a little bit about that, because I don't think we're going to have to do too much intervening here. I have been hanging out with them probably for a good 15 minutes before I decided to turn the camera on. I wanted to make sure that if I felt like something was going to go down, I didn't have like a phone in my hand and have to worry about dropping my phone that has no cover on it, that's attached to this gimbal, and either on that either on those pavers or in these rocks, right, and potentially damage my phone. So, and I do this with all of the dogs that I have in for socialization, for fighting. Like, very rarely, I don't have a camera helper really. I'm a one-man show, so very rarely do I ever turn the camera on like right away. I usually spend a little bit of time with the dogs first, and then when I'm feeling good about things and how things are going, then I'll turn the camera on. So in any case, with that being said, I want to talk about some things that can cause fighting in home between housemates or litter mates, either or, it doesn't matter. They're mates, right? And the first thing that I want to bring up is possessiveness, okay? So when dogs find value over things like bones and toys and treats and people, dogs are willing to use a little bit of aggression so that nobody takes it away from them, okay? So the other dog doesn't take it away from him, so the people don't take it away from them. And so possessiveness is a thing that can start fights with housemates or littermates, okay? This also includes resources like food and water. Those things can certainly cause trouble. And then the other thing that we're going to talk about a little bit more today that I've seen plenty in my time, in my 17 years as a dog trainer, is rough play. So dogs playing too rough can cause fighting and has caused fighting in the past, and I've been called in for it many times. And so a question that a lot of owners will have is, how do we stop the fighting? How do we get the dogs to not fight anymore? How do we get them to get along? And, yeah, we're talking about you too. And so the thing to understand here is there's a couple of things that I really want to talk about and point out here. And that's going to be fighting, or I'm sorry, rough play. Rough play can lead to fighting, but there's also a couple of other things, okay, that I want to make mention of. And the first one is excessive growling in the play, okay? So dogs, I want you to think of dogs in the context of teenage boys, okay? Teenage boys tend to roughhouse. They can get a little competitive when even though they're playing. There is an element of competitiveness that can come into play, and that can cause fighting, right? One guy, or one, in the context of teenage boys, one boy is able to get to the football faster, and the second boy, he gets upset and he gets angry and frustrated, and he starts swinging, right, on his big brother, or whatever the case may be. So competitiveness in play is a thing that can cause fighting, okay? And we start to see this with dogs. A little bit of an indicator, not always, but a little bit of an indicator is going to be excessive growling, okay? So excessive growling can lead to fighting. And so we want to make sure that if dogs are starting to growl too much in the play, we intervene and we try to redirect, right? And if intervening means correcting them, we correct them, okay? If intervening means distracting them with the noise, then that's what it means, okay? It doesn't matter how we intervene. What matters most is that we intervene. Clapping our hands, stomping our feet, screaming hey, squirting them with squirt bottles, squirting them with water. It does not matter how we do that. What matters is that when we do it, it works, okay? Super important. Dogs are associative learners, right? It's all cause and effect. And so when it comes to redirection or correction, all that matters is that it works. Super, super important, okay? So excessive growling. The other thing that we tend to see is genuine, true dominant posturing. Dog one sticks their head, over the neck and shoulders of dog 2, right? That can cause fighting. If you don't believe me, just go to the dog park and hang out in the dog park long enough. Eventually you'll see something like that happen, okay? So dominant posturing is a thing. We want to keep an eye on it. I don't know if that's the case here. These guys have only been here for a few days, and so I'm really trying to get to know them a little bit. Oh, you probably got a sticker from over there. The weeds over here that grow can get stickers, and looked like he was hobbling it. Come here, baby. Over here. Come on, come on, come on. It's like, all right, I'm gonna walk over there anyways. Ouchie. All right, did you get one? Just gotta be careful. I don't want you over there. All right, so I am rambling here, and this is totally off the top of my head. I do want to give you guys some commentary in regards to why we're doing the video, right? So let's just recap. There are 4 things altogether that I am looking for when dogs are playing with each other that can cause fighting, okay? And we've named 2 already. Excessive growling in the play, and true, genuine, dominant posturing behaviors, okay? The third thing is mounting, okay? So mounting each other from the rear end, pelvic thrusting, that is a no-no in my book, okay? Another dog trainer may disagree with this, I don't care. This is what I've seen in my time through observation over the last 17 years. And mounting can cause fighting. Mounting and dominant posturing is probably the two things that you probably see the most in a dog park or a daycare, right? So mounting can cause fighting. And then the last thing that I want to mention in this regard is what we refer to as excessive attention-seeking barking, meaning dog 1 barks at dog 2 to play, and dog 2 wants no part of it. Dog number 2 is being avoidant, right? Dog number 2, right? Dog 1's like barking at dog 2. This is dog. My hand is dog 1. My face is dog 2. Dog 1 barks at dog 2, and dog 2 is like, like, I don't want no part of this, right? They're turning their head in avoidance. They are ignoring. And sometimes communication between dogs breaks down, just like it does with people. So that can lead to fighting, right? Dog 2 is like, dude, you're barking at me. I'm trying to tell you I don't want to. I'm avoiding you, and you are still barking at me. So that can lead to fighting as well. So those are my 4 things that we are really particular about when we're socializing dogs. And in the context of these dogs, those rules apply too. So we are not going to, if we see any of that from either one of them, we're intervening. Sometimes intervention is grabbing a dog by the collar, but I'm not fond of that one because it turns into restraint. And restraint is not our friend in dog training, okay? It's not our friend at all, to be honest. Excuse me. Got a little wind picking up. Hopefully the little wind thing here on the microphone is gonna help out with that. But in any case, that's why they're here. Mr. Chase with the blue collar right here. All right. Mr. Spark right here with the orange collar. Snub-nosed breeds. You know, it's warm out here. They're panting a little bit. That's why I waited until for the sun to kind of be going away before I decided to bring them out. So there's essentially, at the bare minimum, we do this 4 times with the dogs, 4 times a day with the dogs, okay? First thing in the morning before the sun comes up. 2 times inside the house. Got a couple gates that I use, baby gates, so dogs can't run down into hallways and bedrooms and stuff like that. And then again in the evening. And then more than that, if possible, depending on work schedule and other dogs that might be here for training. So socializing dogs and working on a case like this can be a little boring, okay? But boring is good. I want to make that super clear. Boring is good. We don't want the dogs trying to fight each other. Every day that dogs go without fighting is progress, because we got to be careful. We got to be careful with trauma. We got to be careful with Pavlovian conditioning. We don't want the dogs to start to hate each other. This is actually the designated potty area for the dogs. A little potty pen. But we want to be careful about this, right? And the other thing that I want to mention is that as a dog trainer, separating dogs, I'm sorry, not separating dogs, resolving housemates and littermates from fighting is not for the faint of heart. A lot of dog trainers don't do it. It is probably what I consider to be the hardest thing in all of dog training to solve, because if the dog trainer cannot turn the owners into dog trainers and experts of understanding body language, it's not going to work, right? So, to be very clear, I have had a lot of success with this, but I'd be lying to you if I said I solved every case with dogs fighting in the home. It's very, very, very stressful for owners. Like, imagine you work in a 9 to 5, you're stuck in the rat race, and you have to deal with people all day. You have to deal with unhappy customers. A great example would be like a car repair shop. Like, imagine you upset. You're dealing with people that are upset because they have to pay for car repairs, right? And you have to deal with that all day long. People are like, "Why is it so expensive? Why do I got to do this?" And so you're under stress all day long at work, right? And then you have to go home and you have to deal with two dogs fighting. Two large breed dogs fighting, right? I think boxers would fall in the realm of like in between medium and large. Our definition of a large breed may vary slightly, but large is large, right? Imagine having to break these two apart. And you are a middle-aged man or woman who's not in shape or doesn't exercise very often. You don't have any cardio capacity. It's going to be very, 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 you're going to be winded, and you might gas out before you can actually get them separated, right? So this is not for the faint of heart. And the other thing I want to say in this regard is just this idea that a lot of people want to stop dogs from fighting, and they think that like once they start fighting, we have to do something, and that's not true from a training perspective. Okay, I just want to talk about training's application of helping with fighting. I think I want to make something pretty clear here when it comes to any sort of aggression, whether it be leash reactivity or fighting and biting, right? It's all preventative from a training point of view. Our goal is to redirect the dog or correct the dog before they start fighting, before they start getting reactive on the leash, before they start biting, right? Fighting, biting, leash reactivity. all of our measures from a training perspective is going to be early intervention, okay? We don't want to wait until the dog starts to fight and bite and react. We want to do it as they are preparing to launch into aggression, okay? And the reason why this is really important is because aggression has adrenaline tied to it. So correcting a dog when they're fighting and they're under adrenaline, typically it doesn't work very well, okay? Adrenaline is involved. Cognitive function is shutting down, or it's already shut down, sorry, right? Imagine in the workplace, you're trying to solve a problem and someone comes in and starts wailing on you. And they're like, figure this shit out. Are you going to be able to do that under that circumstance? Like, probably not, right? It's going to be very difficult, right? So from a training point of view, I just want to make it super clear, because maybe while this content isn't really for dog trainers or young dog trainers who are maybe considering, taking on a case of this nature or any other sort of aggression for that matter, it's everything's like premature. Intervention is premature. We have to be able to read the dog's body language, and we have to be able to intervene before the dog launches into aggression, okay? Super important. Super duper important. And I don't care if you call it punishment, corrections, redirections. How we use and what we use does not matter. We want to minimize the dog's success of launching into aggression, whether it be fighting, biting, or reacting. Our goal from a training point of view, due to conditioning and cause and effect, is minimizing the dog's ability to get into that space, okay? Super duper important. Super duper. So if you're a young trainer and you're watching this, even though the content isn't really for you, or it's not, listen, I'm not gonna say that. If dog trainers watch this, great. If you're a young dog trainer aspiring to be able to help dog owners with aggression in any form or matter, this information is valuable, right? We don't want to wait for dogs to be fighting. We've lost our opportunity if that happens, okay? This applies to like fear biting. This applies to leash reactivity, right? So as trainers, we work really, really hard to not let the dogs get into that space. And by space, I mean aggression, right? We want to stop aggression before it happens. That's where learning takes place on the dog's part. So anyways, that's kind of like my little speech. Those are the patch of stickers right there. I really don't want them down here. I pulled some weeds here recently, and I forgot to come back and sweep this up. I'll get it after I put the dogs away. Woof. But yep, there we go. Let me get it, Bubba. All right, okay. Had to check a paw for a sticker right there really quickly. Let me fix the camera. All right. Over here. Did we get it? Yeah, I think we got it. All right, so as a dog trainer, when it comes to socialization, boring is good. And I do not use any food in this situation, okay? We do not want to create any artificial behaviors in the dogs. I don't want the dog sitting, looking pretty. I don't want none of that. I want the interactions between the dogs to be as normal and as natural as possible. Right, Bubba? Hey, 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 you. Hey, you. There we go, babies. I probably just invited some jumping. So see what I'm doing right here? Like I got the dogs all wound up by talking to them and being silly. Look, he wants the bird up there. See the bird? He saw the bird. He wants the pigeon. Right up there on the top of that. Yep, right up there. There's the pigeon. They see it. So anyways, let me just get back to what I was mentioning, because I think this is important in this process as well. And this is something that I do have to talk to owners about, right? Like we have to, like, training involves hanging out with dogs and not doing anything really. Not interacting with them. Let me put it that way. I want you to think of yourself as a recess referee at an elementary school, okay? Forgive me, I actually had dinner right before I came out with the dogs. But I want you to think of yourself as a recess referee on an elementary school playground, okay? You're out there, you're not out there to fraternize with the kids. You're out there to make sure they don't hurt each other and beat each other up. Hey buddy, you're distracting the dogs. Actually, my air conditioner, like, well, I'll probably tell you how bad of a homeowner I am, but that is the drain for the rain, right? And what has happened over time is the water has puddled up here enough, and so what's happening is the birds are kind of going up there for water. But I know I need to fix it. There's a lot of things I need to do. This backyard is one of them. This backyard needs a makeover. But let me go ahead and just get back to what I was saying about socializing the dogs, because I think this is incredibly important and it's often overlooked when dog trainers are trying to help owners, whether they have a lot of experience with this or not. We don't, when we're socializing the dogs like this, we do not want to interact with them. We don't want to rile them up. We don't want to ask for any obedience. I want you to think as yourself as nothing more than an observer. And your only goal is to intervene if we see trouble coming. That's it, okay? That is it. That is the only role, that's your only role. That's the only thing we do when it comes to these socialization sessions, okay? You can't really, like if the dogs are fighting over things like food and water, or if it's happening over rough play, learning can't take place if you're stimulating the dogs, because now you're creating something artificial, and that has no application to the fighting, okay? It's really important that you understand that the only way to resolve this is to intervene when it happens, okay? Teaching your dog sit, stay, playing tug of war with your dog, playing fetch, making them heel, none of that shit matters unless you intervene when trouble is brewing, okay? And so timing is very important here. Timing is super, super duper important. And our means of redirection, correction, has to work. And we're talking about you. Watch out. There they are. Got them in the rear view camera. So listen. So that really is the recipe for preventing dog fighting. At least it is in my book. And there's not, and it, like, if you're a young dog trainer and you're trying to, like, if this is something you want to do because you're inspired by it, like it's difficult to, like, learn, right? And the reason why it's difficult to learn, unless you absorb as much of this information as you can and you try to apply it on your own, that's the only way to do it. Because in-home fighting, litter mates fighting, housemates fighting, there's not a lot of seminars and webinars and things of that nature out there for dog trainers. There's not enough resources out there for dog trainers to be able to kind of like learn how to resolve it, right? So I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to put up this video. You know, a lot of my videos lately have just been of like some fun, basic, happy stuff. Basic obedience, you know, playtime with the dogs, that kind of stuff. That stuff is all good, fun, happy content. But this is what pays the bills. This is my specialty. We've been doing this for a long time. We used to run socialization classes long ago when I had a commercial place, but we no longer do that now. So I can only offer this through a board and train situation. And you know, socialization happens with my dogs where it's safe and controlled. So, and not all dog trainers do this. Like dog trainers, people are dog trainers, right? And people, no one wants to get bit, right? If you're dealing with fear aggression, no one wants to get bit. If you're dealing with dogs fighting in the home, there's a risk of getting bit when you are trying to separate them. So it's not for the faint of heart. You have to have a very, very thorough understanding of body language when dogs are tensing up, when dogs are preparing to bite. Like the nice thing about dogs is they're super predictable. Like super duper predictable, right? Dogs have a tendency to like signal that they're about to bite, right? They freeze up, they posture up, they stiffen up. Their breathing slows down. They stare at you really hard. Right? There's a lot of signaling that isn't always obvious and audible that dogs are thinking about biting. And if you don't understand, if you're not an expert, the bird's back. If you're not an expert on that, it's going to be really difficult helping because remember, you got one shot to intervene. One shot only to intervene. And the more dogs fight, the more we run the risk of dogs becoming mortal enemies and hating each other and trauma. And now, what was once fighting over rough play has now turned into two litter mates becoming mortal enemies, right? And now at the sight of each other, they want to fight. So our ability to intervene is everything in this type of work, okay? So anyways, I have been rambling for 33 minutes. I think we're probably gonna wrap this video up. We've got some other dogs in. It's a busy boarding weekend because of the Labor Day, the holiday weekend. So we need to give some other dogs some playtime. I will be introducing these dogs to my dog, first one at a time and then together. The one thing we got to be careful about when it comes to introducing litter mates to new dogs and when dogs don't have a lot of experience socializing with other dogs, we have to be mindful about pack attack, okay? I don't want my little pit bull getting pounced by two dogs from the same household in what is known as a pack attack, because that is a real thing. So anyways, it is starting to get dark, man. I'm probably going to cut the video and give some of these other dogs that are here for the weekend some time to romp around. I appreciate you checking me out. You want to say bye, dude? Where are you going? You inching by? Oh, gosh. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to sit down for a second. Take it in. But get these guys. Smelling the shoes. The shoes drag in the smells. So anyways, I hope you guys found this video helpful. But we're going to cut it short because we don't believe in meaningless rambling. But I hope the information was helpful. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications if you're interested in seeing me introduce these dogs to my personal dog, Little Mac, who I just put up a YouTube short of, in some glasses. So give that a watch if you haven't seen it. All right, we're out of here. Deuces.